Hello, hi, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is you're listening to this. Welcome back to Walking with Wanzu. My name is Yvette Wanzu, and welcome to my podcast. Um, it's been a long week. It was a lovely weekend, and happy new week. So today is Monday evening, and I started the week on a very high note. Towards the end of the day, I was feeling a bit lethargic and really, really tired, but work was really good. Um, generally, business is picking up, and I've really been seeing God's goodness and His faithfulness and His promises. And honestly, I'm in a space where my heart is filled with so many expectations for big and better things, and also just with a lot of gratitude for the things that have happened and for the small, small mercies and blessings that I continue to experience and to see. Now, a lot of excited things happened during this weekend. For one is my daughter's first tooth started shaking, and so she had it removed today so graciously by her grandmother, who's my mom's sister. And I mean, she wasn't a fan of the process, but she was really excited to have it out. And today, when I came back from work, the first thing she showed me was where the tooth was, and she's really warming up to the idea of having that gap where the tooth was. And so that was really excited. One thing that marked for me was just how long I have been parenting, which is 5 years, and also the realization that my daughter is actually growing up and she's becoming a big girl. So it's very humbling to watch. It's also very emotional when I think of how far we've come, but I'm also so grateful for all the milestones that she takes. And is it that parenting at the end of the day? Because parenting, in my opinion, um, involves a lot of sacrifice, a lot of learning and unlearning, but the ultimate reward is definitely all the milestones and the progress that we get to see our children achieve and go through. And that for me is such a huge blessing. So today I've been thinking a lot of what it is that I wanted to share with you. And to be honest, it's just there's so many stories, there's so many lessons to tell. But I'll narrow it down today. So today is June the 14th, and it's two people's birthday who one used to be very close to me and one still is. The first person is my cousin, so happy birthday, lots of blessings. You know yourself, so I won't be out here mentioning you. The other person is someone who used to be my ex-boyfriend. Now, in a way, remembering his birthday and remembering him today made me think of a couple of things in terms of dating that I really wanted to share. One is the experiences that I've had, which haven't been the best, neither have they been the worst. And also just the experience that I really have had generally and the lessons that I've taken home in regards to dating. So I met this guy when I was 17, and I was, like I mentioned before, I had a bit of a delay in my studies. So at 16 is when I did my end of primary um, education exams, and so I joined high school at the age of 17. And so that's when I met this guy. I met him when I was on that long break where after you get your results, you're still waiting for the calling letter to the high school that you're going to be called into. And then, you start preparing and getting ready to be able to join high school. And so we met in church and we just clicked right away. We used to talk a lot. We used to meet, a lot of phone calls here and there. And so on this particular evening, he called me on the eve of my birthday, and I was really unwell. I wasn't feeling well. I had tonsillitis, and so he told me, if you're not feeling well and tomorrow is your birthday, then I definitely have to come and see you. And so he came to see me, and I introduced him to my mom and to my aunts, and it was a good day. It was a good day. And so moving forward, I guess he got to learn the kind of person that I am and was, which is someone who likes clarity, a bit uptight. But the main thing that he noticed with me was that I really used to like clarity. So if you approach me maybe as a guy, if a guy was approaching me, I really appreciated it. And I still do even up to now, if he made his intentions very clear. And at the time, although I was 17, I was still a virgin. Um, I didn't have much experience in the dating field. I had only dated one guy, and he was really pushing the sex agenda, and I wasn't ready for it. So I decided at that particular time not to engage that relationship further, and so we broke up. And so when I met this guy, we used to talk a lot, we used to goof around a lot, we used to laugh a lot. We generally just used to have a really good time. And one thing that I can say for sure, even leading to this point, is before anything, we were friends, and we were really good friends at that. So that continued, and we got to know each other, and we started dating, and it was really, really nice. It was amazing. Um, he got to be a first of many things for me. So when I think of that relationship, I think about it with so much fondness and so much joy, because he was a first of many things for me. And so over time, I noticed, he was in university, he was in uni, and I was in high school, and so we were kind of transitioning and both in very different phases of life. And so after a couple of months, he told me he wanted to talk, and he said he wanted to take a break. Now, for someone who wasn't very ripe in the dating field, most of the time when a guy asks you to take a break, he's probably saying politely that he doesn't want to date you anymore. And I would understand where that was coming from, because then I wasn't ready to engage in any sexual activity. I was pretty uptight in terms of what my boundaries were, and I was very clear that as long as I was still in school, even though I was dating, there are certain boundaries that I personally would not push, and there are certain things that I wasn't ready to be involved in. He, on the other hand, had finished high school. He was in uni. He was ready to experiment. He was ready to, do things here and there. And so, as a result of that, then we chose to part ways. And I was devastated, I won't lie. I remember sending him random messages like, "You really hurt my feelings. I don't know why you decided to end this." And at some point, he even told me that, "I'm going to have to ask you to stop texting me because I can't keep getting these messages." And so it was a lot of back and forth. We would go apart for like a couple of months, reconnect, go apart again, and reconnect. And this happened over a couple of years, even leading up to when I finished high school and started working. And then at some point now, towards the very last time we separated, we became extremely toxic and abusive to one another. And I was talking to someone about this today. And I remember in one instance where we were having a fight and we were arguing, and so he left and he sent me a message, and he was like, "Sai, your nose is so big. Um, I don't know why your nose is so big." Like and he kept going on and on and on about how he doesn't like my nose and it's so huge. And when I read that message, I just remember crashing so bad, because even growing up, we've always been taught that the lighter you are, the prettier you are, and the better for you. So as a child, I would always hear comments like, "Oh, is that your mom? She's so pretty. Wow, she's so light and pretty. She doesn't even look like your mom." Because I, on the other hand, was really dark. So comments like those really got to me. And so the one thing I had going for me was the people who loved me and helped me dear would always tell me what a beautiful dark chocolate girl I am. And so here I am in my early 20s, trying to figure out what beauty is for me, what values I hold dear, trying to experiment with my talents and gifts, just getting into a new job and making some good money, at least finally at the time. And I'm just starting to get confident, figure out my sense of style, know what works for me. And this guy out of the blue just comes and tells me that I have a big nose. Not out of the blue, really, because we were fighting. And so that really got to me. And so I noticed over time as I was speaking to people and as I would relate with people, even when I was laughing, I would cover my nose with my hand. And that became a habit. And I developed a very deep insecurity about my nose. And so now, fast forward after having my baby, I mean, of course, we parted ways and it was really nasty. I do take responsibility for some of the things that I did, and that's something that I hope I can be able to share with time with you on this platform. But short of it all, we parted ways. It was very nasty. It wasn't the most peaceful breakup. And I was thinking about it today. So now I am in a space where I love me for me. Um, I love my nose. I even have a nose piercing. But I was just thinking of how when you enter a relationship when you're not fully aware, or when you love too deep, or when you're in a situation, how the person you're with or how the relationships we get into can greatly impact us. I, for one, love really, really hard. And so I take the opinions of the people who I love, I hold them really, really dear. Anything that they say really sticks with me. Whether it's a compliment or whether it's criticism, it really, really sticks with me. And so it took a while to shed off the kind of the hurting comments that I would get whenever I was involved in a fight with this particular person. And I, on the other hand, I have the gift of gab too. And so it never really used to help when he would say something hurtful and I would say something even more hurtful in return. And I would go on and on and on about it, because sometimes when we think of the instances and the times that we've been hurt or we've experienced negative things, oftentimes than not, it's very easy to unpack negative experiences. And for me, every time I do that, in a way, I sort of relive that moment. And I just want, I just want to say, I don't know, especially if there's a young girl listening to this at this particular time. I don't know what you're going through or why you've managed to come across my platform and you're listening to this. And I just want to tell you that be very cautious, and just be very cautious about the people that you let into your space and the relationships that you get into, because whether you like it or not, they feed into your day-to-day lives. They feed into your personality. And the people that you date have a very big impact on how you turn out. And I just want to say that sometimes when people say things, especially if it's insulting, it's oftentimes than not, it's not even the truth. It's just meant to hurt your feelings in the moment and at the time. And I hope that once you start dating, and seeing people, even, what can I say? Once you start dating and once you start coming across different people and being in different spaces, I hope you're self-aware and have so much love for yourself to know that only you can define you and know who you truly are. And whether you're a beautiful single young lady or a single mom like me and you're getting back into the dating field, please define you for yourself first and love each and every inch of you. I have come so far in my self-love journey, and even now I'm still en route, because currently I am the slimmest I've ever been. I was really thick in high school. I lost a bit of weight after high school. I regained it before I got pregnant, and then now postpartum after the baby, I shed so much weight, and I've never managed to regain that weight. And so there are times when try to fit some clothes, and my hips just don't feel maybe as thicker as they were, or my ass doesn't feel as rounder and bigger as it was, and it gets to me. But I also just made a very conscious decision to just embrace the space that I am in and look around me and always try to look at the many, many blessings that I have and the many things that I can get away with. Like, for instance, now I have been experimenting a lot with fashion, and now I've noticed since I'm in a very small size, I can wear, I can wear all the short clothes that I've always wanted to wear. I get away with wearing short pieces or experimenting more with my style and freely. And I love that and I really like it. And even a couple of months ago, I managed to shave my hair, which is something that I've been wanting to do for such a long time. And I finally got around to liking the shape of my head. And I was like, you know what? I think it would be cool. I think I'll look really nice. And I shaved off my head. And so maybe one thing that I take away from being in that relationship is I let this particular individual really define me, and I let their values really govern how I used to move and how I used to do my things. And over time, I learned that I lost myself to them. And whether I knew it sometimes even indirectly, I did things not because I liked them or because they made me happy or were edifying to my spirit, but because the other person liked it. Now, don't get me wrong, because relationships are about compromise and give and take, but I don't believe that it's healthy for anyone at any particular time or space or any point in their relationships to lose themselves, because there's the essence of who you are. There's what makes you who you are, and that's the juice, that's the value, that's the awesomeness that you bring into any union, whether it's a friendship, whether it's your workspace, or even more so if it's a relationship. And once you lose that, then it's like a dead fish swimming and you just keep going with the current. So if you're dating John and John likes this particular kind of vibe, then now you're vibing in a John kind of way. And if you're dating Peter and Peter goes with this kind of vibe, then now you're vibing in a Peter kind of way. And that's a lot of personalities to adapt and take in, girl or boy. So I guess it's very important to be self-awareness and to be self-aware rather. And it's also very important to just love you in the skin that you're in. Because one thing that I keep saying all the time, and I've said it so many times to myself that now I even believe it, is that God doesn't make mistakes. And when you look at yourself, and I know this screams really loud for the ladies, because we're the ones who struggle a lot with self-image, because we self-criticize a lot and we self-analyze a lot, and we always want to tweak this and change this here. But I wish we could all just pause and just see all the good things that we have going for us. Because one thing that I'm consciously learning to do is to really expound on the positive things and just see just how the negatives can be minimized with that effect. And so when I look at myself and I look at my body now, I love my nose, I love my nose piercing, I love my tiny waist, I love my beautiful legs, and I really love this space that I'm in of self-acceptance and just knowing that I really am beautiful in the skin that I am in and in the way that I look and who I am. And so anyone who comes into my space and violates how I feel about myself or tries to change me or morph me into a particular way that they think I should be, then I don't subscribe to it, and I protect my space and I protect it fiercely. And so now when I look back, I can definitely see such a huge element of growth. I can definitely see that now I'm in a different space. However, I am really grateful for that experience, because that taught me that I can't go around, just doing or viewing myself in a way that someone else does. I need to know, I need to be self-aware, I need to know myself, I need to know what makes me happy, what excites me, what irks me, what annoys me, and then just take pride in just being me. And when I am just me, I am whole, I am happy, and I am proud of who I am, then the next time I do get into a union, then I'm coming with all the wonderful sauce and all the awesomeness that is Yvette, that is me, because I am just my authenticity and my individuality and my uniqueness is what makes me so amazing. And so, as you move throughout your week and engage with different people and work on your relationships and continue choosing your person every day, whether it's your boyfriend or your fiance or your husband, I hope you know that just as you are perfect and you don't have to change anything for anyone. And if someone tells you something hurtful in a space where you're exchanging words and it has anything to do with your appearance, please protect yourself. Please create a boundary around it and know that all you need to be surrounded with and by is positive affirmations and things that speak positively to you as a person and what you look like. And here's a little tip and nuggets um, as I leave, or rather a parting shot to all the parents out there, whether you're a dad or you're a mom, it makes such a huge impact for you to remind your children every single opportunity that you get. I don't even want to say every day, but every single opportunity that you get. It could be like 10 times a day or every other hour, to remind your children of just how beautiful and just how handsome they are. Remind them of how smart they are, remind them of what a gift they are, and remind them of just how amazing they truly are in everything that they do, and just encourage them to be awesome. And whatever you do, just make sure those children know that in your eyes, they are perfect. They are perfect, and God doesn't make mistakes. Thank you for coming in and listening and tuning in. I hope this resonated with you. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. Share this with your friends, family, and loved ones. And I will see you on the next one. Have a beautiful and fruitful week. God bless you. Love and light. Bye bye.